southbound. I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of Life podcast, and we're about to get into an awesome podcast with Brian Ellathorpe.
Yes.
We wanted to give a quick shout out real quick, and with Tony being a veteran, felt like it'd be a good place to start. But Williamson Outfitters, a guy we've hunted with several times, Chris Williamson, runs a great operation and runs a sweet hunt for veterans, and just wanted to take an opportunity to plug his hunt that's going on. I believe if you want to get involved with it, either from a sponsorship standpoint or a just to be a veteran and go hunt there, I believe the deadline's January 20th. But Tony, tell them a little bit about that.
Dude, let me tell you something. I don't care if you've even hunted before. You need this camaraderie. I'm a veteran, and it's special that, you know, we get folks like this, and big shout out to everybody that is involved with the veteran hunts and youth hunts. And we're just lucky enough to be, you know, in partnership with Chris. And he really does it first class. Yeah, I mean, he really does. And man, if you're on the fence of like, man, I don't know if I should do this or not, dude, just go do what your friends say. Seriously, and get a hold of Williamson Outfitters right away and get booked down there. You guys, it's something you'll never forget. I've had some really special veteran hunts, and it's when the season's over, and I don't know, just a lot of times you shoot them in the face.
So appreciate y'all letting us drop that, and appreciate Brian for the delay right here in the beginning. But without further delay, we're excited to have Brian Ellathorpe on the podcast. You guys, whether you know it or not, I guarantee you've seen one of his videos somewhere on social media, because it's always like a high quality clip of like a diver doing it dirty, or like just recently the clip that
Dream shots
with the shoveler. That's incredible, like the most plumed out shoveler. But Brian, man, thank you for joining. Tell everybody just a little bit of your background, a little 2-minute commercial, if you will.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. You guys have been, you guys always say nice stuff when I post it, so I really appreciate it. So I'm Brian Ellathorpe. Thank you. Brian Ellathorpe from Ohio. Started waterfowl hunting about 13 years ago. My buddy in college, my roommate, his dad carved decoys for hardcore decoy. And so he had always gotten a bunch of decoys and stuff. And he was like, I got too many at the house. You guys take them. And I really wanted to get into duck hunting, because I was deer hunting at the time. And so I was like, you know, we started doing that. I got hooked immediately. And like I told you guys before this started, there's a marsh right down the street from my house, about 1.5 miles. That's the marsh that we started hunting when I was in college. Wow. So when I graduated college, I bought a house inside that marsh, like 1.5 miles from here. And then, yeah. And so that was in 2016. And while I was there was always ducks in the pond behind my house. And I could never get close enough. And for whatever reason, my brain didn't even go to like buy a pair of binoculars. It was get a camera with a big lens. So I found this cheap camera. It was a Nikon D3300, and it came with a 300 millimeter lens. And so I would belly crawl from my back door out to the pond and take pictures of these ducks to see what they were. Because by the time that I would get out there, they would be long gone.
Yeah,
sure.
And so then I started going down the rabbit hole, and it was like, why don't my photos look like the cover of Ducks Unlimited magazine? And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I'm like, I got this camera. It's definitely like, at the time, I'm like, this is the nicest camera, you know, I could possibly find.
Sure.
And so then I started learning like editing and starting to like actually get my photos how I wanted them. Then I started going down the YouTube rabbit hole of like Peter McKinnon and how to use your camera and how to edit, how to do all of that stuff. And I think at one point I started buying more camera gear than duck hunting gear, which is, as you guys know, already expensive. And then I just went off the Richter scale with buying camera gear. And it's like, now I've got this, I don't even know where it's at. Now I've got this 500 millimeter f4 lens on a super nice body. And I've got, you know, pretty much I've built a business out of it where now I film hunts, obviously, and I take photos of waterfowl, but I also grew a YouTube channel, and that's kind of like gone into the diver realm and all of that just because I'm so close to the lake and hunted all the time. So I was trying to get camera gear to film YouTube videos, and then that kind of led into me filming weddings somehow. So that's and that's
well,
how like
you can't film ducks all year round, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't know if that necessarily is why I started, but I started seeing how much money came from it, and I was like, okay, I'm in on this. So that's pretty much bought all of my camera gear, and that's what I do in the off season of hunting. And then I started working for Tangle Free Waterfowl as a photo and video guy, and they also sponsor RNTV, and that's how I started working with Sean Stahl filming for RNTV. So,
man,
it's about as awesome. Compact as I can make it, but it's been a wild ride.
Great.
Yeah,
that's a great. I mean, gave us a great, a lot of stuff to work with there. Right off the bat. But
good,
man, I that journey you talked about right at the beginning, where you start with whatever camera you can get your hands on, and you think it's the nicest, and it's just like I'm probably like 5 years behind you. Now I'm not as bad as running like a DSLR still, but like just in that journey of like learning stuff, and constantly, I mean, because all of us are trying to do our best all the time, and there's so many
with what you can afford,
right?
Right,
and that's the thing. And there's so many people, like myself included, us included, that are just always trying to kind of level up their gear and take their thing to the next level. So I love that you shared that, because I think there's a lot of people that you probably get messages all the time, people in that same boat.
Yeah, and it's always like, what's the best camera? And it's like, that's subjective anymore, because the top 3 or 5 brands, however you look at it, they're all such good cameras. Like you can't just, if I pick up you shoot Sony?
No, we run a Canon R8.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Canon or if it was Sony, but I can pick up your camera and know how to use it. Yeah. It's not the camera that does the job. It's the fundamentals of the exposure triangle, or like the 180-degree rule if you're filming. And it just like, that's the rabbit hole that you go down when you're like, why don't my photos look the way I want them to? Or why doesn't my video turn out the way that I want it to? And everybody will tell you lenses and editing. And it's like the camera body itself, you need a good body if you're trying to do high quality stuff. Like that's just the name of the game. Like you can't pick up a crop censored DSLR and try and film ducks at first light, because it just doesn't have the fundamentals. It doesn't have the ISO that you need. It doesn't have the sensor size that you need. It's like you need a good camera to do this quality of work. And for me, it was like I spent a lot of money on camera stuff like right away, but I was able to fund it by doing the weddings and doing like side gigs and stuff like that. So like a lot of pretty much everything that I've made off of weddings and doing anything with a camera, I have put money back into buying stuff. Like now I run 5 mirrorless cameras. I have 12 lenses. I have GoPros and 360 cameras and drone. I mean, I have it all, but I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't making money doing it too. So it's like, kind of goes hand in hand. You start doing quality stuff, people hire you, and then you can kind of grow from that. Like not only in the experience that you get by doing all that stuff, like I can handle the chaos of a duck hunt or a crazy goose hunt because I'm dealing with crazy brides for 8-9 months out of the year and crazy families. So it's like it just kind of snowballed into that for me. And there's a few guys that I know, like Grant Sinclair. Me and him talk about doing like weddings, and it's kind of funny. Like there's people that are completely against doing weddings. They won't take photos for weddings. They won't do video for weddings. And then they're like, start doing it. I'm not kidding. There's people are always going to die and get married. So
you
always have a revenue stream if you get into one of those two things.
And babies.
Usually you won't die more than once, but but you might get married more than once.
I don't know, bro. There's a lot of people that would definitely say that Tony Vogel has outlived many cats.
Yeah,
you got a
right.
couple cat lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we're on the camera topic, you know, and kind of nerding out a little bit, you know, one of the things I'm looking at wanting to do this off season is upgrade from the R8's been really good for us. Like it was the first like 4K mirrorless camera we could get into at a decent price point. And we got like a decent, like 100 by 400 millimeter lens. And so we've, you know, got some good flexibility with what we can do. But the things I'm running into is like now I'm addicted to slow motion and it only is 1080p. So I want 4K slow motion. I want 2 SD card slots. I want the audio with slow motion and all these things. Yeah. And there's, like you said, a lot of cameras out there that have that at, you know, maybe that $3,000 to $5,000 price point, I guess.
Right.
But a lot of people say Sony is like the move for low light, and you were just saying Sony. I mean, is that, if you had to, for what I'm kind of describing, I mean, is that what you would suggest too? Or, I mean,
well, I run all Nikon stuff.
Oh, so okay, gotcha. Okay, so never mind.
But that's what I'm saying is like, I mean, I've run into people like, I mean, I've been around people that are shooting Canon and Sony and stuff, and then I show them something that I've shot, and they're like, dude, what are you shooting on? I'm like, a Nikon Z6 III. And they're like, you're kind of making me want to buy that camera. And it's like, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's not just the camera. It's how I'm comfortable with that camera. I can go anywhere and shoot anything. Nobody has found something yet that I can't at least film or take a photo of, because you just apply those fundamentals to whatever you're doing. So for me, it's like, if I want to shoot something different, like if I want a different aspect of something, I change lenses. I don't change what I'm doing. I change my lens, because if I'm shooting, like when I shoot the TV show for RNTV, 95% of the time I have a 24 to 120 on. And that is like the perfect range, because I can spin it back and I can get everything in the blind. Then
I'm dumb, and that makes sense to me.
It just gives you a good range, and so it's like
we felt like we're missing.
Yeah, because we're kind of in a hole, because I think I have a kit lens that's like a 25-50, and then I got the 100 to 400. Right. So it's like, or maybe it might be 25-40, but like, so you have super wide, and then you have like something that you can get real close with, but like, I need that middle range like you're talking about.
Well, and your sacrifice also is that
this winter, elevate your outdoor pursuits with Williamson Outfitters, offering professionally guided experiences along Florida's Forgotten Coast. From coastal duck hunting to inshore fishing, every Williamson Outfitters trip is led by a seasoned captain, delivering world-class adventure with true local expertise. From small private groups to large corporate retreats, Williamson Outfitters' fleet of well-equipped boats and experienced guides provide first-class winter outdoor experiences for sportsmen of all ages and skill levels. And for those planning ahead, Williamson Outfitters is already booking spring and summer charters. Secure your fishing, flounder gigging, and family adventure dates now before their calendar fills up. Call or text 850-251-8650 or visit floridaducks.com to reserve your outdoor experience. Williamson Outfitters, making the Forgotten Coast unforgettable.
And like, I'm not going to talk too much about videography, because I am only a backup guy, but I do know simple basics, and with that strong of a lens, when you're trying to zoom in on something with the setup we have, dude, it's so hard to keep that footage still. Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, you can put your anti-whatevers on it, but it's still, you got to hold it so super steady. But to me, like, that would be the perfect, like, it's kind of almost in between what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
it's good enough for everything, because like, obviously if you've got birds that are at 300 yards, then I'm grabbing that 500. That's what I'd be filming. If the birds are consistently going in at 300 yards, I'm grabbing the 500. But if I'm in a duck hole, or I'm in a duck blind, and I'm not trying to film those birds that are at 200 yards. I want kill shots, and I want stuff in the blind, and I want dogs retrieving. Yeah, I can do all of that with the 24 to 120. There's times I just take like my backpack, and I just have literally like 3 batteries, backup SD cards, microphone, camera, 24 to 120. And then if I'm like, I really kind of want to get like something specific, I'll pack the 70 to 200, but I can't get in blind shots with that. I have to be pretty far away from, like, if I'm filming a dog and I want to follow the dog like into the blind or whatever, I have to be kind of far away for that. And like if I want to get, there's times where you get that rain out. Like you see birds coming in, you're like, I'm not going to try and pick one of these. I get them tight as they're coming in, and then as soon as people start shooting, I back it off to 24, and I get that rain out. I can't get that with a 70 to 200 because that 70 is just a little too tight depending on where I'm sitting. So all these things go through your head where you're like, I always think like Sean will give me the premise of whatever show we're filming before we go. We'll kind of talk about like what we're going to look for and what he wants me to get and stuff like that. And obviously you're playing with nature, so you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. Like they might not cooperate, but at least I know if it happens how I want it to happen, I know what I need to do. So I'm ready for it. But that's this kind of stuff that just comes with doing it so much.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No doubt. Like there's so many little things that, and you know this way more than I do, but just like one of the things I figured out last year is like, so I kept figuring out on like really bright days, like, God, everything's so washed out no matter what I do,
overexposed.
Yeah. And, I got like a lens filter, like a UV filter to help cut.
Okay.
Yeah, to cut it. But it was just like a cheap one I got from Best Buy. And what I thought I had great footage, and come to find out, like some of the stuff I was getting like in tight on birds, like it, I'm just looking on the monitor, so it looked pretty crisp to me. But when I go back and look, and I'm like, son of a gun, I know I was on them tight because I'm, doing manual, but is because that cheap filter screwed it. Like when I would get tight with that 400 millimeter lens, it would just could not get like the same level of crispness.
Okay.
So like these shots, these shots that I was like, oh, this is like the best thing I've ever done. I was just like devastated afterwards, but just learning. Now I know I got to invest in a good one.
Yeah, that happened to us. So like, I'll give you a little situation of what I did with that. So this last, we did a run in Missouri. So we always go down to this. Well, the show always goes down. I've gone the last 2 years to this private ranch called Maple Ranch. And so the first 2 days we had like killer lighting. It was just kind of cloudy or it was backlit. So everything was just perfect. The last day we had to hunt this hole where the wind was, because of the wind and the way that it was, the sun was going to be directly in our eyes. Well, right at sunrise, it's cloudy. It doesn't matter. Then the birds start flying. The sun comes out. And I'm like, I'm screwed. So what I did is I grabbed that 70 to 200 and I bounced out like off to the side so I could shoot where the sun wasn't directly at the birds.
Sure.
So you can, if you have the opportunity to move around, that's kind of how you combat that. What I also do if it's super bright out is I will run my camera in auto ISO and then I'll bump up the shutter speed to like 1,000. Something where like when I put it, I'll kind of like do a test like at whatever I think I'm going to be filming, like whether it's a tree or a decoy or something, and I'll get my lighting perfect. And then that way, if it gets to a point where like the camera gets too dark, it just bumps the ISO up on its own. So it'll constantly keep you at like a decent exposure. And then you can go back in, like you can go back and post and kind of touch it, bring it up a little bit or whatever you got to do. But that way you at least don't blow everything out. That's the best thing that I've done so far.
Every time I get the camera anymore, I'm like, Tristan, put that f-stop at about a neutral position. Not giving them like, put it at like an 8, 9, 10 or
make
whatever.
Sure everything's in focus.
Yeah, that way everything I film is going to be in focus.
There you go. Yeah, auto settings and F10.
But let's face it. To get the shots that you do, especially some of the stuff, you guys got to go look at the stuff. If you're not right now, pull over, don't drive, and look on your phone. But pull over and look at some of this shit, dude. It's got to be like negative F. I don't know. It looks like 8K stuff. I mean, it's just so sharp. It's so nice.
I appreciate it.
It's beautiful stuff. I've seen so many videos that I've just been like, all right, that's about it. You can't do it any better.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time filming. Like these next 3 months are going to be like, I'm out every weekend with this giant lens. And I mean, that thing weighs, I think it weighs 9 pounds, just the lens itself. And the camera's a pound or two. But I mean, I handheld shoot 80% of the stuff with that. So it's like, I'm sitting out there, I get home, my shoulders are just destroyed. But it's because like with a camera that size, or like if you're just trying to get stuff that's stable, you have to like tuck your elbows and keep everything super tight to be in. Like, I feel like a sniper, because as soon as I see a bird, I'm like, and I hold my breath as I'm filming. And it's like, but these are all things that help stabilize your body. It's kind of saying, I don't know if you guys play golf, but like I grew up playing golf, and the best thing to do for putting is to keep everything tight and move your shoulders. Well, it's the same thing with cameras. Everything tight, and you just move your torso.
Your shoulders and your torso.
Yeah. You keep everything tight. And a lot of that stuff is, I mean, like you're saying, people message me all the time and they're like, how do you get footage that's stable? It's like, well, I have things in camera that I can turn on, I can stabilize in post, but for the most part, I try and keep everything as smooth as I can so that I don't have to do all of that post. I shoot what I want to see, and then it makes everything, like I can edit, like that shoveler video. I came home and I edited in like 4 seconds because I have a profile or like a project saved for just reels, and I can just throw it in there, change the frame rate on it from, I film everything at 120, so I can drop it down to a 24 frame timeline, cut what I want, stabilize it, change some coloring, and then I ship it out. It's like, that's what keeps me able to put out as many videos as I can, because I can come back with all this footage and I can go through it like that, get what I want, and I can go back out.
Yeah, no, that's awesome advice, man. And I think, from like a simplicity standpoint on just keeping, that's kind of like, I got the same thing set up with I just call it TikToks, and I'm really bad because like I don't delete anything I ever put on this Adobe Premiere timeline. So it'll be like, before I start a new one, it'll be like an hour and a half with like, it'll be like, okay, I'll make like a little 15-second clip, and then I'll have like a big space in between, and then it's not truly an hour and a half worth of stuff.
I see what you're saying.
It's just I keep reusing this project, and we'll export like the next thing I make.
I do that. Like if you look at my exports on, because I use DaVinci, but it's like, I think it's at like 500 something, and I made that program or that file last year.
Holy cow!
Like in the last 15 months, I've probably made 500 little reel videos.
Wow.
Did you were you an Adobe guy and switched to DaVinci, or did you?
No.
Okay, because I know a lot of people are doing that too, right?
It was called Adobe. I think it was like Adobe Light or something, Adobe Premiere Light, and that was what I first started like cutting YouTube videos with. But then as soon as I bought my own computer, I was using it on my work computer. Somehow they told me I could download it on there, and I was like, cool, I'll use this to edit videos until I decide if I really like it or not, And then I started editing photos, and I'm like, I got to get my own. So I bought like a cheap Mac desktop, and I don't know what made me do it, but there was somebody in one of the forums that was like, oh, well, Blackmagic has a free editing software. And I was like, well, that's pretty sweet. I used the free version of it from 2018, 2017 until last year. I finally bought the studio version.
Wow. Nice.
And I only bought the studio version because I have an editor that helps me edit my wedding videos, and he uses the studio, and he does all this crazy shit in Fairlight, and then like I can't see it unless I have the studio version. So if I go in there to mess with something, I can't use it unless I have the studio. So I'm like, oh, you made me buy the studio. I was saving so much money. It's only $300 and it's for like a one-time thing. So I'm like, I'm just being cheap. But
I got a question, Brian, and this to me is one of the toughest things I think for every filmographer or whatever you want to call yourself,
videographer.
videographer. I saw a post, and I might not get this word for word right, but it was Jace Robertson giving advice about videoing, and he said, "I'll give you one piece of advice if you're filming a waterfowl hunt." He goes, I think he said, "Follow the hunter," is what he said. So basically, I think what he meant by that was look at his eyes, watch his barrel. Like if you're trying to, like you said, there's been times where this a wad comes in, right? And I know you've seen it because I've hunted those. And how do you pick your target is I guess my question is, how do you tell us, like when you go out on a hunt and you're sitting there, you got 5 guys with you or 6, whatever, in a pit, in a blind, whatever it is, like the ducks are rolling in. How do you pick your target?
So like you're saying, like to follow the hunter, it's like there is a style, and you guys have seen it in other videos, but it's like somebody will be on the person that they're filming or shooting, and they'll kind of follow up with them so that they can see their barrel like line up on a bird.
Yes.
So you can do that. So most of the time when like if I'm filming and we're in a boat blind or something, it's always super tight. So it's really hard for me to like be filming and then also like spin to try and get something, especially if there's a bunch of brush on the front of the blind. Sure. And the more that I move, the more the birds see. So I really try not to screw up a hunt. Like anytime somebody's like, "Oh, it's the camera guy," I'm like, I'll be damned if it's the camera guy.
Yeah.
So I'm hiding, I'm steady, I'm making my face is covered, I'm making sure that it's not the camera.
Right.
And but like if birds come in, generally anybody that pops up out of the blind is going to shoot the closest bird first, no matter what. So I'm always tight on the closest bird. If there's a big group that are coming in, I just will go wide because I really don't want to miss. Like there's some people that we hunt with that they will not hit that bird. They'll miss that, and then it's like that's just the way it goes. They're gonna miss that bird, and it's like at least if I'm wide, I get something going down.
Yeah.
And I really hate to miss shots, but I love those super tight shots. Sean loves those super tight shots. Connor Mobley that edits our stuff, he definitely likes those type of shots because he's always using them in the videos. Yeah. But I'm like, I try to get those because that's what people really want to see. And but so to your point, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so I guess you got to just like kind of pick your targets, right? Like I'm just envisioning you're going through and you're filming this hunt, and we always have a list of things that we're wanting to get, right? Whether it be brand related or shot related, hunter related, blind talk, whatever it is, right? You're always trying to be creative in that side of it. But as you're going through it, you start to check off these boxes, right? Like, okay, this is such a good hunt. I've got plenty of kill shots. Now I'm going to the next pintail drake that comes in. Yeah. I am balls to the wall, zoomed in on that sucker. So do you kind of do the same thing? It feels like
you're playing with house money a little bit at that point.
Do you kind of do the same thing and have like list them by priorities? Like, is that kind of how your mind works?
That's so like if I know the premise for like whatever show we're doing, I kind of have a shot list in my head. But I'll always get stuff that I know will make a video or make a episode or something. So if I'm getting B-roll, like you said, I'm getting brand stuff. We have a bunch of sponsors for the TV show. I have to get stuff for Tangle Free. Like I have my own agenda. And so it's like, I know the things that I want to get. And like you said, like if I know I've got like my establishing shots, I've got brand stuff, I've got all these things, then it's like, I'm kill shot mode. 70 to 200. I'm as tight as I can possibly get. I'm sitting there and I'm tensed up. I'm making sure that I'm getting everything.
You got to go for gold on that tight. One bird.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, like, if a Drake pintail comes in, I'm making sure I'm on that sucker. And it's like, you can kind of start to have fun. Like that's when I have just as much fun filming birds, filming hunts as I do shooting. There's times where like like everybody will shoot their birds and I'm like, I'm good. Like I don't care if I shoot. It's almost more
rewarding in a way.
It is. Well, because I can go back.
Like you get to be part of that duck's life a little bit more, goose or whatever it is. It's just you're embracing it longer than you're done.
Well, yeah, and to another point on that, like that's why I don't post a ton of kill shot videos. I'll cut it off before the kill shot because the amount of exposure that I get on a bird just flying or landing, I don't violate guidelines when I do that. So like Facebook doesn't suppress my stuff. Facebook's the most traffic that I get. I'll get 1 million to 1.5 million views a month just on birds flying and landing and swimming.
Dude, you're about ready to win an award from like the United Group of Bird Society International.
I'm in some birding groups.
I bet, bro, because I've seen like we have this one special place down at Merritt Island page that we follow, and I really enjoy like during the off season, even during season, these unique birds like the skimmers or whatever it might be that these and of course, you know, all of us as duck hunters, if you don't know this tip, follow all the birding websites. So because a lot of people post this stuff really quickly, but I enjoy watching the creativity.
What's up, guys? Tristan here. If you're like us, you need gear that's going to stand up to the elements and not break the bank. That's exactly what we love about Frog Talks. They just dropped their brand new Oxbow waterfowl series, and let me tell you, this stuff is built for serious hunters who don't want to quit when the weather turns nasty. It's tough, lightweight, and waterproof. Everything you need when you're out there chasing ducks. If you're looking to upgrade your gear this season, head over to frogtalks.com and use code OneHellOfALifeOutdoors at checkout for 15% off your order.
And like the different animals, right?
Yeah.
And there's no way that people of that society don't look at your stuff and just be like, all right, listen, David Attenborough is calling you tomorrow, and we're going to have a talk.
No, there's a lot of people that I know in my area that are like die-hard birders. Because in my area, so we host the largest week in birding here. So there's people from, I mean, if you go to any wildlife area, it's like birding trail number whatever. And it's like, there's a whole list. There people fly in here from Denmark, the Netherlands, Australia. I mean, you name it. There's people here for like 3 weeks. I think it's in March, the end of March maybe. But it's called the biggest week in birding. And you cannot go anywhere around here without there just being birders everywhere.
Isn't that kind of cool, dude? I mean,
crazy.
really?
Yeah.
Dude, let me ask you this, and this might be a little Theo Von, but like, do the people that like love Cardinals, do they have like Cardinal shirts and they fight with the Blue Jay people and stuff like that?
I haven't seen it.
Anybody walks around with a Crow T-shirt, you're like, dude, they're kind of a what do you call those? What's the word I'm looking for? Anybody with a Crow T-shirt would be like, who are the people that paint their fingernails and do emo? They're like, dude, definitely an emo.
Like Edgar Allan Poe.
You start to classify people by the bird shirt that they wear, you know.
Well, I was gonna say,
I'm sure there is. I don't get caught up in it though.
You walk down the street, you're like, see my patch.
You know, it's go ahead.
It's just like it gets too crowded, and they're at all the wildlife areas. So like, I don't get involved in it. It was actually, I forgot about birding week one year, and I was building this little boat out as a bass fishing boat, and I was making a video on it, and I was going to go bass fish on Lake Erie in this little 12-foot boat that I was building. And so I was testing it in one of the marshes, and I mean, this little 12-foot boat, and it does like 35 miles an hour with a 20-horse outboard on it.
It does a wheel.
And I didn't see anybody there, and I was like, I'm just going to go test this out real quick. So I mean, I'm 260. I'm a big dude, and I'm in a 12-foot little tin can going 35 miles an hour through the
with
marsh.
wheelie bars.
I was on the plug, like riding it, like some Arkansas type stuff.
Yeah.
And I come flying out of these cattails, and I look over, and there's like 400 birders out there, and I'm flying past them, and they're all like looking at me, yelling at me, and all this stuff, and I'm like, what is going? I'm like, oh shit, it's the biggest week in birding, and I am flying through the marsh in this tiny little
legendary
boat. I was like, you got to be kidding me,
dude. I could just see you like ending up on the local news channel, like.
Dude, I thought somebody was gonna put me on a birding page, like this dickhead was out here on picking up all the birds and stuff. And it's like, but I went back into the marsh and I kicked up all the ducks for them so that at least they could get something. But it was like, yeah, they were all lining this dike wall that cuts basically between the marsh and the lake. And I just didn't see any of them. I dropped that boat in. I started flying out there and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Well,
Dude,
listen,
that's funny.
If you're listening to this and give half a shit about what he's talking about, you want to know, like, what makes it such a big spectacle there? Like, is it just a super flyway? Is it like habitat, certain unique birds? What is it? Because that sounds cool as hell.
So it's the migration. This is like the biggest stop for the birders hate it. I call them Tweety birds because I don't really get into it. I'm a waterfowl guy. I like seeing swans and I like seeing the ducks, geese, all that stuff. I don't really care about the little birds, but there's like, all sorts of the little birds, like shorebirds,
whatever.
Whatever they are. I don't even know the tufted whatevers and
crossbills,
warblers. Apparently, there's a ton of warblers and some sort of tufted something that everybody gets really amped up about. But I mean, you go anywhere and it's like there will be 400 people sitting at like one person's house, this random person's house. Somebody drove by and this little bird is in a tree. And they get pissed because people are stopping by looking in their front, like they're in their yard. These birders don't care. But it's just, awesome. It's nuts. Like it's really good for our community. I'm not going to say it's not because they come, they stay in our hotels, they eat at our restaurants, they get gas at our gas stations. Like I have nothing against them. It's just not something that I am into. Sure. Even as somebody that loves shooting birds with the camera, I like the ducks because I'm a duck.
Yeah, but point being, I was going with and I'm sorry that we went down that whole hole of that, but it's just that there's a big point to what you were saying about why you choose to not post the kill shots. Yeah, because what you're doing by doing that is, and at least in my eyes, is that you are showing your professionality at what you're best at. And I think it doesn't have to do with the kill shot. That's the hunter, right? Your kill shot as the videographer is to put that animal in its most beautiful, majestic way that we see it so the public can see it.
Also from like just a algorithm standpoint and just the general
Ike farted, dude. It's bad.
Oh, jeez.
Ike!
Oh man,
sorry,
that's brutal.
We always bring the reality here. It's one hell of a lot, and I just farted a big old stinky fart.
You're on a numbers game though, from just looking at the general public that aren't hunters, unfortunately, and then for the algorithm. I mean, it would make more sense to me. Like that way, we get more traction. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like it's cool to see the numbers and stuff, but at the same time, like. I don't want the perception of every duck hunter to be that we're just murderers. I want other people to realize that like we see the beauty, and that's why I like capturing these birds. I capture the beauty of the birds and everything that we like about it. I mean, like we wouldn't donate to Delta Waterfowl and Ducks Unlimited if we didn't care about these birds and their habitat and like seeing them thrive. Yeah. And then it's also as a duck hunter, like you're out there. Like when you're hunting, you don't get to see these birds land and act the way that they do in the water. So these next 2 to 3 months that I'm chasing these birds around, it's like I see them in their purest natural form. Yeah. And I can capture that. I can show it to people. And it doesn't just appeal to duck hunters. It appeals to people that like birds or they just like ducks and they don't like chase after them with a camera or binoculars or whatever. It's like it just makes me feel better about like not always like making a dramatic kill shot and like that's I let Sean post those. He's the killer. I send them to him and I'm like, here you go, and he posts them. But it's like I don't know, I will post kill shots, obviously I do it, like I do it in reels and stuff, but it just it is a numbers game. It's cool to see it like reach the masses. But I've also I've had super cool conversations with people that just started from them seeing like a bluebill fly through the decoys. Like, oh, where are you from? Like, oh, I live in Washington. We don't see these bluebills anymore. And it's like, that kind of stuff. It's like, would I have those conversations with people if I'm just like posting birds dying every time?
Well,
probably not.
And let me interrupt real quick. Let's just imagine you're watching that and you're filming that, and this bluebill, beautiful drake, comes flying through the spread, right? And you have the right equipment and right target shooting, I would say, as a videographer, to say that was special to him. Bam! I've got this slow motion of this beautiful drake coming through the spread versus a shot of, let's say the sun is facing you, or it's cloudy day, that kind of thing, and this bird that's black just kind of goes through the spread.
Right.
That creativity and the attention to detail, I think, is so important. I mean, Tristan, you hear me saying it all the time, but like, if we get, and I know you're the same way, Brian, is as soon as we find out the way that we've got things set up today that we can't get the sun at our back for videoing, because, I mean, let's face
it. Or if
it.
it's just super cloudy.
Yeah. Let's face it. I mean, Bluebird Day, at your back, you can get some amazing shots of these birds. You know what I mean? But no, I just think it's important to, think about that. I think about those things when I watch videos of yourself, and all these other greats that we talk about all the time. And that creativity part, to me, is so like the average person doesn't see it. They just watch it and go, "Oh, that was badass." But they don't realize, like I was telling you, Tristan, like the whole planet Earth thing. I go, did you know that took like 7, 10, 13 years, whatever, to get some of those shots?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they just watched it and said, "Oh, we love the penguins." You know what I mean? Whatever, but
you
man,
don't know what you don't know.
But yeah,
right,
but no,
exactly,
But no, that's what I love now that I'm learning more, and Tristan helps me learn more about the videography side. At least from the outside looking in, and I just have more respect for those moments, those shots, and those things in videography.
Yeah, like when you go out and you get these like perfect shots, it is like going out and shooting a limit. It's like shooting a bull can. It's like you get a rush. That's like, I mean, you shoot a bird and it's like, the moment's over in 2 minutes. You shoot the bird, dog goes and gets it, brings it back, you're holding it, and it's like, all right, well, that was cool. There's times where I'm sitting out in this marsh down the street from my house. There's 1,500 pintails out there. They're landing all around me. And all I'm doing is just watching birds for hours, 3-4 hours. I'm getting these shots, and it's like I get to live in the moment a lot more. It's super peaceful, and I get to realize that pintails are the number one pickiest bird to land. So if you kill pintails, you win, because
you ain't lying, man.
I've seen them in their most natural, calm habitat, and they still will circle 15 times.
No kidding.
Oh, dude, it's wild. I'll send you some videos, because it's like they just will not stop.
It's funny you bring that up, because so like where we hunt in Northeast Arkansas, and it's just, I mean, I really like 20 miles this way, it's probably not that way. 20 miles that way, it's probably not that way. But for whatever reason, where we hunt at, there's just a ton of pintails. I mean, like literally, we just hunted there like last weekend, and on, I guess that was Saturday morning, I bet we saw, I don't know, we didn't kill anything, but I bet we saw 1,500, 2,000 ducks, right? And I bet 90% of them were pintails. And they all just
fly, didn't kill anything.
Yeah, no, don't work, don't do anything. Fly, go on point A to point B. You look up and you hear them whistling or whatever, and you see these bowling pins, and you're like, yeah, here you go.
Yeah, but, they just keep flying. Yeah.
No, they are really finicky. And thankfully, over the years, we've been able to catch some of those days for whatever reason. They just want to do it, for no reason. I mean, just one of those days. And man, it's special. They're cool. They're people have this affinity with the mallard and, whatever, widgeon and other things. But I think pintails are one of my favorite just because of how elusive they are and how cool they are. It's almost like, to me, I feel like they're just like this majestic duck,
Yeah. Well, and like, there's also that kind of, for the longest time, we could only shoot one of them, you know, and it's like, you know, you get one to do it and you're like, oh, that was so cool. Like and when they're fully plumed out like that, it's like, they're hard to beat, man. Like that's a really cool looking duck. But then you also like, you see them and they won't finish and they're just so finicky. And it's like, you start to realize how hard they actually are to kill.
Yeah. And I wonder what, I guess it's just their biology or whatever. Well, I mean, they say they're real finicky about their breeding too, right? So, I mean, maybe they're just finicky about everything. I don't know.
I hope so, because we don't need any like crazy. I mean, the hybrids are cool, but it's like, at what point are we not going to have true black ducks and true mallards? You know, it's like,
well, they're almost gone and on the flyway
with the
mallards.
I want to. That's a good thing to get on. But like, the pintails, though, like apparently where they breed, like they're real. That's part of the reason why it's such a challenge with getting their population up, I guess, is because they're so finicky on where they'll even breed at.
Oh,
if the conditions aren't like perfect, they're just like, nope, we're not doing it this year.
Yep. Yeah, they will, and they'll go to reestablish. Where other ducks will just fly over to another pond or waterway or something. Or I mean, honestly, there's ducks. I think it would blow a lot of people's minds if they realized where hens, like hen mallards, for example, where they lay their eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, because you would think that, okay, it's always going to be by the edge of the water. No, dude, no, not at all. Like, I've watched them rake fields up there in Canada and in the potholes and stuff like that, and you can't see any water. Dude, I mean, there might be moist, I don't know, but you don't. It's like a desert of marshland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, these ducks are flying up in the air, and you're like, oh, well, they kind of hide when they have babies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they really do hide it out, you know? So,
I got a funny story, quick one. So I bass fish a ton in the spring.
Okay.
And there's these little marinas by our house, like private marinas. Anything that's navigable water, you can go in there, you can fish. Well, I got this honey hole, and I was in there one day, and I was fishing, and I'd seen this older lady. She walked out her back door, and she went to the front. And like 3 minutes later, I just heard this like blood curdling scream. I'm like, I cannot leave here without going and seeing one, because she's like 70, you know.
Yeah.
So I get off the boat, I go up to the front, and I'm like, I'm so sorry to be on your property, but I heard you scream, and I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And she was like, you will not believe it. She's like, I was weeding my garden, or like my shrub area, and a hen mallard came flying in my face out of the shrubs. She was sitting on a nest there. She like looked, and she's like, there's a nest in there. So it was like a bunch of rock with like a little area in like a turnaround driveway. Bunch of rock and some shrubs, and this thing, she was just trying to pick some weeds, and it flew right at her face. And her name was Patty. She's a sweet lady. I think she passed away, but she has a honey hole for bass fishing.
Wow. Well, and I'll tell you, in the urban mallard regard, you know, I don't know if anybody's listening to this is familiar with Jacksonville, where Bay Meadows Road is, but you know, we used to live down in that area, and we all went to church one morning, I think, and we went to breakfast afterwards, and we were off Bay Meadows Road. I mean, halfway in between that and South Side, so it's not like one way or the other, right? In between 95 and South Side. And we stopped at this place and have breakfast or whatever. We turn around, and we're walking down the sidewalk next to a building, and there's all this grass piled up and everything. And, man, you couldn't even see her. She was sitting right there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, that mallard hen was sitting there, and I'm like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. I mean, like, it'd be one thing if you were, like, say, on a community, right? Because then, okay, yeah, those are like we have out here. You know, I've got these mallards that, you know, half of them stay, half of them leave. And, but they're local ducks, you know what I mean? They've urbanized and that kind of thing. Where this duck was, bro, like, I don't know. There wasn't anything around water-wise, like, for hundreds and hundreds of yards.
No,
it's crazy where they end up. I mean, same thing with the geese down here. Like we get all the James Bay geese, and they really don't go past here. Like once they will not really go past the Great Lakes area. They might make it down like to Southern Ohio. Southern Ohio is really good goose hunting, but like they just kind of stay here. But it is like if you go to any golf course any cemetery. It's just they are piled up. You cannot fit any more geese anywhere, and they'll still find a place to be. It's nuts.
No kidding.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Dude, shoot, what was I gonna say about you were talking? Oh, the urban mallard thing. With you were talking about them, interbreeding, kind of being the death of like black ducks. A lot of people like. And I don't even think I realized this when we first started hunting, but like we're partial to Florida just because we spend so much time duck hunting down there, and that's where we kind of started duck hunting. But like the mottled duck is the same thing as the black duck. It's a subspecies of mallard that it's its own thing, and they're running into the same thing down there. Like people being concerned, same exact issue.
Yeah. Well, and like up here, I don't know if you guys have seen the studies that, like, I think DU or some partner of DU did a study on the mallards in the Great Lakes, and because there's so many of like the game farms up here, because we don't have wild upland, so like there's a bunch of people that like they will raise pheasants and chuckers, and the pheasants and chuckers don't make it very long if they don't get shot. But same kind of people will also pen raise mallards and do these like trained pond hunts where any corporate guy will show up, doesn't know how to shoot a shotgun.
It's like a high fence deer hunt. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. And so there's been so much interbreeding between the game farm mallards and the wild mallards that now when I saw the study, and I think the study is maybe a year or two old now, it was that 55% of the mallards in the Great Lakes region have game farm genes in them.
Wow.
And so that has like a big influence on how far they migrate, because they have shorter wings now, they've got shorter bills, and they're fat, like everybody's, we want to shoot those fat greenheads, and it's like, yeah, shoot them, because they 55% of them are
we've got Asian carp greenheads.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like they've become the game farm mallards have become an invasive species, and now it's starting to affect the mallards. So it's like we have mallards up here that they just don't want to fly, or they can hold more fat than a normal duck, or and that's part of the migration thing that we've seen up here, is that the weather has changed. With this, that we don't freeze up like we used to, so these birds have so much food, they have so much water, they have no reason to leave, they have no stress. And even if we do freeze up, I have pictures and video of sitting on a river, sitting on the edge of the lake, and these mallards eating minnows and shad. So it's like they adapt, and it's like they just because they can't eat corn and beans in a field, they don't care. They'll eat invertebrates, they'll eat zebra mussels, they'll eat anything we've got here. And if the water doesn't freeze, they have so much access to it.
Isn't that funny versus the stereotype? Isn't that? I mean, really,
people don't realize what ducks actually eat.
If you're the normal duck hunter, you don't know anything about this, you're just like, yeah, bro, no matter what. Let me tell you something. A wood duck is the best tasting duck ever. Or an acorn feeding mallard is the best thing. I love it every time a videographer, like I saw a hen mallard video where somebody had an incredibly high quality shot of it eating a leopard frog, and I was like, yes, spread the word.
It was on a Delta magazine, I think.
But we've seen it like,
maybe, I don't know.
We've seen it like
I thought it was.
We've seen it like firsthand, Tristan. We've literally seen it firsthand with ringnecks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, ringnecks in Florida are more invertebrate eating. Ringnecks last year, like during the veteran hunt in Arkansas at Delta Thunder, dude, those are rice eating freaking ringnecks. It's just what they ate, So, I mean, we can go down that whole rabbit hole of what they eat, what they taste like, all that kind of stuff. But I just think it's interesting that people in general just go like, yeah, man, wood duck's always the best, or whatever. I mean, I think there's a generalization of which one's obviously that versus a bufflehead. All right, okay, I can see it, but
and there's like, I mean, because I post so much of the diver stuff, people like just rip me apart, and they're like, has this guy ever seen a puddle duck before? And it's like, what people don't understand is up here I've had mallards that taste like crap, because all they do is eat shad and zebra mussels. But then I've had bluebills that have been sitting up on Lake St. Clair eating grass and, you know, whatever is under there, wild celery and whatever they can find that tastes better than mallards. Tastes like a wood duck. You know, it's like you're playing you're just gambling. It's like you don't know what this bird's been eating, but I've opened up mallards and I'm like, I'm not even cleaning this thing. It smells so bad.
You know, it's funny, like you bring that up. Like I've cooked a pintail and a ringneck the exact same way. It was like a Steve Rinella meat eater recipe with like some kind of mulled wine deal and pears and all kind. It was really damn good, but I could not tell the difference between the ringneck and the pintail, and it just goes to show you.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you guys this. So this morning I was looking out, and I've got about 15-acre like lake out back.
Okay.
And it's in a neighborhood, but I mean we get a lot of ducks here. I've got probably, I mean, during the summer, 65 to 70 mallards
just hanging around.
And the hens all. I mean, I usually get like 4 to 5 hens that, you know, are having nests around. They bring the babies around. And so I get to watch them through their whole pluming cycle, all that stuff. And to me, like, dude, I'm like a student, you know, like I'm watching them all the time. Like, I remember when the light went off the first time I saw these hens, and what happened was we had a rain, and I've got like a wooded kind of back hill and all this stuff leading down to the lake, and all the mallards started coming up through my property right after it rained. And they were like as if I just threw corn out. Dude, they were, and I was like, "What are they eating? They're eating worms because because encrust or whatever larva that's coming up because it got rained out." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Son of a bitch! Well, look how smart, you know." But I watch all this stuff. Well, this morning I looked down and I saw probably about like, I don't know, half a dozen Canadas and probably like 15 mallards. And they were all along the bank of my yard, and they were all butt up. They just kept butt up. But I thought, man, that's cool as shit. They're all down there butting up. And I didn't throw corn down there. I'm like, what is going on? Well, I took Ike down there this evening to look. And dude, I'm going to take a video of it. Actually, I'll send it to you, Brian, just as proof. Dude, all these little bitty mussel shells. I mean, the size of a pencil eraser to a dime size, laying all in the bed. You can just, I'm talking, there's probably 50 to 100 of them.
Okay.
And that's what they were eating this morning, dude. They were down there, and how they pop that shit open like a damn, a peanut and get that out of there. I don't know how they do it, but I just thought, to me, that was cool as shit to see that this morning. I was like, it's a feeding frenzy. What are they eating?
They'll eat whatever they can get.
Yeah, it's neat as shit.
Yeah, they don't care if it's corn or they don't care if it's zebra mussels. If they can eat it, that's what they're going to eat. I mean, up here, it's like we have such a big, we had a really big bed of like.
Yeah, not clams. I'm sorry. They were mussels.
Of like underwater aquatic plants. So like my area, then they dredged it and it got real sandy and there's not as much of it anymore. Kind of same thing happened in Lake St. Clair. During like the market hunting stuff, there was a bunch of canvasbacks up there that would just eat this wild celery. And that's why everybody loved the canvasbacks. And so like, obviously, you know, you get bigger boats, more boats, that sort of thing. And it just kind of kills off everything. People start dredging and dumping and that sort of thing. So where these birds used to eat all of this underwater aquatic plants, they're now eating zebra mussels because now that's here. So then you start to find out like where these zebra mussels are sitting and like where the minnows are, and you can kind of pattern the birds now based on that, which is kind of interesting.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it's cool. And then you can kind of like I shore hunt a lot. That's kind of like where the YouTube stuff has gone, is everybody really likes to see shore hunting divers. So I make a lot of those videos. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out, I'm like, well, the zebra mussels are out there. It's like, why are they coming up here? And there obviously there's zebra mussels and stuff that are shallow, and that's what they'll feed on. But I started to learn, I started to look it up, and diver ducks will use the sand to help push the zebra mussels and stuff down their gullet. It's gritty, and so they like use that to push it down. I think it helps with digestion and stuff like that. So that's why we were able to, like, and we still do, shoot a lot of birds on shore because they come up to the sand and feed there.
It's like similar to a dove, I guess, or something. Maybe, you know, like dove are always like,
or like
turkey. Turkey. They got it's in there. Do they have that? I guess they have that little what do we call it, little sledgehammer thing going on. Crawl. Yeah, whatever it is. Man, that's wild.
Yeah, it's just cool to like be a student of it, and like, you know, like we were talking about, it's like you sit there and film birds or take pictures, or like you said, you're walking your dog, right?
Yeah,
and it's like you can just sit there and watch, and you start like, oh, I would have guessed that they were eating insects or something. And it's like, no, they're cracking shells open. It's like,
dude, it was so cool. Thing. I was just I was just shocked when I looked down and I saw these little shells everywhere.
Oh yeah. Crazy. You probably didn't even know that stuff was in that water, did you?
No, I didn't. And they did.
They'll find it.
Yep.
For people like, and we're always big on this, we love hunting different areas just to see how different people do things and how ducks act in different areas and what you shoot and whatever, you know. What is it like hunting up there? Like, take everyone through, because I mean, I think when I think of
what's the visual
like hunting divers on the coast, like, you know, you guys basically have an ocean, you know, hunting the Great Lakes. But like our experience with that is like coastal brackish or saltwater like marshes, you know. So it's just that's a completely different animal from what you guys are doing. So just give everyone that visual, you know.
Yeah,
it is. So the best way to put it is it's terrifying. It is. So we've got the western basin of Lake Erie is the shallowest of all of the Great Lakes. Okay. So Lake Erie itself is the shallowest. I think like the deepest that it gets is somewhere in like the 200-foot range, and that's like way east of me, like Pennsylvania, New York. But then you've got like Lake Michigan. I think Lake Michigan is somewhere around like 900-foot deep at the deepest. So that changes how the wind affects the waves. So in my area, if the wind kicks up real quick, you get these real short, choppy waves. But they'll grow, obviously. Like it'll be 5 foot, but the spacing between them is less. So like it's really tough to navigate because you can't just ride over these rolling waves like you can in like Lake Ontario, Lake Huron when you get far out, Lake Michigan, you know, sort of thing. So my area, it's like you have to be very cognizant of the weather because it can flip on a dime, and when it does, because it doesn't take long for those waves to build, it'll be immediate. Like I've been out layout hunting where it's like, oh, we're hunting this nice like 10-mile-an-hour south wind, got a nice little chop. Then you're sitting there in the tender boat and you're like, feels like it's going west now. And so you're going from like where you're a mile offshore to now there's 15 miles of water to your west that's building. And before you get everything picked up, your layout boat's getting swamped by 3-foot waves.
Wow.
So,
my gosh.
It's nuts. So like you have to be very careful, and that's why it's so terrifying, because you can be out, everything can be fine. I was filming for a guy last year, and it was like we went out, it was like maybe 1 foot. We ran out to this island like 9 miles offshore, 8 miles offshore, and by the time we were coming back in, we were in 7 to 9 foot waves.
Goodness,
I was throwing up the whole way back, and it was
like
that's the kind of stuff that can happen where we're at. Now that being said, you watch 100,000 divers get up and fly, that's cool. That is the cool stuff to see. For sure. So like it's in our area, it's interesting because we have obviously like we're north, so we get this like we're in the middle of the migration. At some point we're getting birds, it doesn't matter. It happens calendar, moon cycle, whatever, we will get birds. It's the vast majority, like we get so many the variety of birds that we get. So like we will get sea ducks, we get diver ducks, we get puddle ducks, we get it all. And I think that's what's so cool about where I'm at is that you can go walk into a marsh right on the lake, or you can go 10 miles offshore and layout hunt, or you can boat blind hunt for divers. And it's just like, I love hunting with my dog, so I like to shore hunt a lot. We've gotten away from doing a ton of layout hunting like we were, but it's the best way to beat the pressure too. So you guys know, it's like we've lost hunters overall, but the people that are hunting, are hardcore.
Yeah.
So it's like I see the same people at the boat ramp all the time.
Yeah.
I'll see the same guides at the boat ramp. We talk. Like it creates a community if you're not super like this is my area, you know.
If you're not a dick.
If
Yeah.
you're not an asshole about it, you can make some friends, and it's really helpful because there's times where like we got guys up here that run the duck water boats, and it's like I have rivets in my boat, so I'm not going to go out and break ice. But if they break ice in front of me, I'll go.
What's up, guys? If you want coffee that doesn't suck, you probably can guess what I'm going to say. Get the Duck. Dirty Duck Coffee is the official coffee of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor podcast, and they have a great lineup of different coffee blends, everything from Morning Wood and First Flight to Dark Dynasty and Suns Up, Guns Up. You can't go wrong with Dirty Duck Coffee, and they have a great lineup of cold brew cans, mocha, French vanilla, original cold brew, and cinnamon teal snickerdoodle. If you want 15% off your next order, use code One Hell of a Life 15 on your next order.
Behind them, you know, like it's fun that you can do that, but like I guess my point being that there's just so much different stuff that I can do here. We have this massive migration of these James Bay geese. We have tons of divers that come through here. We've got mallards, black ducks, all that sort of thing. Like they're here, and it's like you can field hunt geese in the morning, and you could lay out hunt divers in the afternoon. It's like.
You guys want to hear something?
It's a very overlooked area,
dude. That's really neat.
Listen, I'm watching this. Remember the show I was talking to you about? A little bit of history involved. Check this out: the canvasback duck, which everybody, if you saw a picture of canvasback, it's probably got a crustacean or a fish going in its mouth, right?
I got one right there.
Heck yeah!
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah,
I see him back there.
But guess. It was the #1 commercialized duck.
Yeah.
And it would sell, and I don't remember what country that we would ship them over, but they, in one shipment, sent like, I want to say it was something like 30,000 pounds of canvasbacks, and they sold back in the 1800s for $25 a pair.
Oh my gosh.
$25 a pair, bro. Back then, that would be like equivalent to like,
probably like $300,
like 3,000 or something now.
Filet mignon.
But
yeah, for real, it's like
a Wagyu,
super fancy steak dinner. Or
but
something.
Isn't that crazy how we just walk through history, and we can go down this in so many avenues. We talk about Indians. We can get real crazy on this. But isn't it crazy how these events, these things that happen in life around the globe, the Holocaust, whatever it might be, it's just that. Isn't it crazy that years go by, right? And then the next generation and the next generation comes on, and then maybe that many pounds of canvasback ducks for $25 a pair. All it is words to me now. It's not like what it was really doing and really happening during that time, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I just think
live it. Yeah,
like you just kind of live it out, but it becomes a past history, a past memory that was so significant. And like I said, there's 1,000 channels for that, how we have just done what we've done as humans. But I just found that I was blown away when they said $25 a pair.
Yeah, at one point, I mean, that was, I want to say I don't know if I read a book about this, or I read Steve Rinella's book about the American buffalo, about how basically it was hunted to extinction almost, and all that. And I think they talked about a lot about the canvasback situation in that book, if I remember right, or I read it somewhere else.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, I think that was a part of like why federal limits were put in place, and like, I mean, it almost like
population-wise, it was so significant.
Yeah, like I think all the market hunting stuff for sure. Yeah.
So it was like it was probably like on one of those main like, holy cow. Let's slow down here because we don't even realize the resources that we're.
If I remember right, there's a lake like or an area in like the Northeast or something where it was at one time like,
Chesapeake Bay.
It might have been that.
It was Chesapeake Bay. We I think it's when we had Pit Boss.
what? And tell me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the deal that like
that was the place?
Yeah, and
it was the Mecca.
Still, because of the damage that was done from the overhunting, that still has never.
No, but they don't say it's from the overhunting. It's from the loss of habitat in the Chesapeake Bay. It's the loss of, I don't know what they said, the crustaceans, the fish, whatever it might be.
What I'm thinking of is there were so many of them hunted from this area that they're never going to be like, it's the birds that were imprinted there are not imprinted.
No, and that's how we got talking about whatchamacallit here in Georgia, which is the #1 migration spot by numbers of the canvasback duck in America now.
And what lake is that?
Lake Sinclair.
Lake Sinclair.
Or no, sorry, not Sinclair. It's Lake Seminole. Sorry.
Lake Seminole.
Yes, Lake Seminole. Yep.
Lake Seminole is the #1, and
it was on there was a dude that Mark something. He was like doing the 42 ducks in one season.
Yes.
Mark Peterson.
Yeah. Yep. He went to Lake Seminole to get his canvas back. But
really? That's crazy. I mean, like, we've got this. It's a bridge up in Michigan called the Mackinac Bridge. It separates the Lower Peninsula from the Upper Peninsula, and my buddy was up there like 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago for New Year's. We went across the bridge, and he's like black with redheads and canvasbacks.
What?
It's like we just they get pushed down so late from that area that we don't see them. Like I see them after the season's over, and that's when I'll be out taking pictures and stuff, and I'll see them everywhere. But we don't get a giant push of them down here, and it's interesting because we'll see bluebills early, we see buffleheads early, and then it's kind of you'll get like the occasional redhead that'll be with them. Then it's like towards the end of our diver migration, we'll get the golden eyes come down. Wow. And then it's like the golden eyes are fun because you can shoot 6 of them. Same way you can shoot 6 buffies. We can only shoot 2 bluebills, but they're everywhere. And then it's like you may see a canvasback, you might see some redheads. So it's like, but honestly, like we'll see more scoters throughout the season than we will canvasbacks.
No kidding.
Yeah. Surf scoters, yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
I know. I want to hold another one of those, that's for sure. I've only seen one in my life, and my buddy Drew shot it off the coast of Georgia, and it was a black scotter drake, and I just still think it's funny as hell. Tristan called it a candy corn coot. But he's like, but dude, holding that thing I just couldn't believe how big it was.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, that's like this, so that it's blown out now, but like that, there's a eider up there. So it's the canvasback, long tail, and then the eider. So I went to Massachusetts. There's a guy, Randy Drago, out there, and he layout hunt guides for sea ducks. So we're like, well, we layout hunt here all the time. It'd be sweet to go do it on the ocean. Mm-hmm. That's what we did. And it's like, we shot scoters, but I went there specifically for a drake eider. And that thing came in like a goose. I mean, like they're just so big when they come in. Wow. It's the coolest hunting I've ever done.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, we gotta do that, dude. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I want to go risk my life in Alaska for some king eiders, dude. For real.
See, that's where I really do. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, some of the shit.
No, because if I go like, at my age, if I go right there, I'll just be like, I don't give a damn, dude.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
I'll be like, I'm not
going on that trip.
At the end of the Titanic, when Leo was DiCaprio, he just gives up while he's sitting there freezing to death.
This is a perfect spot.
That's what I would do, bro. I would just be like,
so like, okay, and also kind of going back to what you were talking about with the 7 to 9 foot, swells or whatever, the waves.
God.
Like, there's just some stuff that I'm like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze on the sketchiness for me. But like, so what kind of boats are y'all running? Because like, the reason I'm asking this is like, one time we went out mahi fishing off the coast of Florida with our friend, and it was supposed to be like 2 to 4, and ended up being like 5 to 7 70, and it was a 30-foot boat, and like it was sketchy.
Yeah, dude.
Like it was not a fun time. I mean, we were tearing up the mahi, but it was sketchy. So I'm thinking about like
60 miles.
What kind of boats are y'all running out there to get these freaking spots to hunt?
So I have a 20-foot deep V. That's like, it's perfect for me. Like I'm not going out, and it'll take 5-footers. Like I've had in 5-footers, but as much as I go out, I get seasick. So I'm not going to go out in something that's wild like that.
Did you say it's a V?
Yeah, so deep V instead of like the mod V or like a flat bottom. It's a real deep V. It cuts through the waves better and it sits up higher in the water so you can handle those waves.
Yeah.
Most of the guides up here will run like 25 to 28, maybe a 30-foot duck water. So duck water makes their boats here in Dover, Ohio, and they're like super thick aluminum welded boats that they're a big open cockpit and they can break ice and they can do all that stuff. They're really expensive though. So a lot of the guides up here will do that. Most of us that just are doing it for fun, 18 to 21 foot, it's pretty common to be able to go out and be safe. There's people that come up here with mud motors or mud boats and try to go out on the lake.
Imagine.
And it's like, if it's a flat, calm day, you can take whatever you want out. Like I've gone out, like walleye fishing. It's been like, 2-mile-an-hour wind. And I get out there and then some guy in a 14-foot or a 12-foot boat will come out with a 6-horse motor on it. It's like, we're all 3 or 4 miles offshore. So it's like,
wow,
you have those guys. And I did it when I had a 14-foot V bottom and I used to do that shit all the time. But you kind of just have to learn it. Like because I make the YouTube videos of hunting on the lake, everybody thinks that, it's easy. And there's days that is easy. And I try not to go out on the days that it's, terrible or I'm going to die. Because number one, I don't want to wreck my boat. And I don't want to kill the people that I'm with. So it's like, I try to be, cognizant of that when we go out. But we do sketchy stuff too. I mean, like we went and we were layout hunting in 30-mile-an-hour winds 2 months ago. So it's we'll do it, but we know where to go to be out of the wind and like that sort of thing. So it just comes with experience. I'm not the most experienced guy. There's guys that run their boats. There's probably guides that have run their boat as much this year as I have in the last 5 years. It's just the way it goes. I don't do it for a living, but I have enough common sense to watch the weather, know what the weather is going to do, and know how that affects the lake as well.
Isn't that so important, Tristan? Like, dude, I just had this like saltwater to freshwater connection with him as far as like experience, right? I mean, it's no joke. Reels blow up all the time about if you're a coastal hunter getting your ass beat, with the tide. It can be dangerous. That's the number one most important thing is I didn't ever respect the dangerousness of the speed of an outgoing tide. Like who gives a shit about the incoming tide? But when that sucker starts sucking out you're not beating Mother Nature. And but really just getting stranded is like a benefit, honestly, compared to what could happen. I mean, there's so many times where, just at Williamson Outfitters, man. I mean, about those guys saving those guys' life on a tide that was going out. And I mean, it takes a lot. It's not like you can just be like, oh, I'll catch up to them. No, like you turn the motor on and get over there and get to them because they're getting sucked out to sea or out to the bay or something. So, but I just think it's neat that, that is such an important part of if you're going to duck hunt anywhere, bro, it's worth your knowledge to pop into a Greasy Spoon, stop at a hunting shop, whatever you can do to meet people, even book with an outfitter and learn about how people do it there.
Yeah, there'd be like, just from this conversation, and not that I'm like ignorant enough to think I could come up there and kill ducks like y'all do, but like that's sure after this conversation, it's like there'd be no way for like a Georgia boy to think they're gonna like go take that on and do anything. You know what I mean? And it's not just there. It's we realized that before we ever went and hunted the public timber in Arkansas. We knew that was how it was.
What about when our motor went out when the timber was flooded?
Gave those guys respect because we that we knew we were not going to have the success that we wanted for a while.
Dude, we were on a rushing river with. I mean, there was undertow and everything, and this stupid cheap motor I had, which I'll save it. I won't say anything bad about people, but this motor went out, and I immediately, when I went back to my wife, I go, I'm buying a new boat and a new motor. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how close I was messing. Like if I was scared and I have my son in the boat, he was scared too, and it was sketch as shit, and we had no control, zero control. And
that's the worst thing is not having control.
Well, and the thing is that you're going with this surface drive, this certain brand, and when you're doing it and it gives out immediately, you get the backflow of the waves, and we were gonna get sucked under, bro. I mean, I was just like, I won't do that again. You know, so to the point, man, we lose duck hunters every year, waterfowl hunters every single year. Yeah. And it's due to mistakes. We can't be careful enough.
Yeah, we do. It happens here too. It's funny that you say that because I was at a game fair, not this past year, but the year before, and you guys had Billy Campbell on your show. I was talking with him, and we were talking about where I hunt, and he said something about so where are you guys when you guys are doing all this stuff? How deep is it? And I was like, we're in the shallow part of the lake. I'm like, but if we're layout hunting, we're in 10, 12, 14 foot of water. And he's like, if I can't step in it, I'm not going in. He's like, over 3 foot, over 3 foot, I'm not doing it. And Dennis was in the corner. He's just shaking his head. He's like, not for me.
I want to say we had a similar conversation about alligators in Florida.
Yeah, he's like, hell no, babe. He was like, no.
Me too. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I have a reason I live where the cold hurts my face.
Isn't it funny?
I don't have alligators.
Isn't it really funny how oblivious Florida duck hunters are? And I'm not taking anything away from Louisiana and Mississippi, all the other.
They're the same way.
Yeah, they're saying we really, truly didn't think twice about it.
No.
Unless
now we weren't.
You saw a big one and you had to go out and retrieve a duck. Then you're like, all right, the other little Pac-Man guy just smoked one of our ducks, and now I'm basically going out to challenge him, and I can't shoot him or I will get a ticket.
Now it's a different deal with a dog though. We weren't hardly ever hunting dogs.
No.
So now if people down there hunting with dogs, I mean, it's unless you're hunting true puddle duck conditions where it's 8, 10, 12 inches, most people aren't running their dog down there.
And let's face it. Really, the only time you have a true gator threat is during early teal, because all those times when the water temperature gets down, they get lethargic. They just do.
In North Florida, not in South Florida.
Well, you got a point.
Yeah.
All right. And they're probably the same way in Africa.
Yeah.
All right. Be like, all right, we're going out today. We're gonna hunt this certain white-tailed, long-tailed, pin-tailed, freaking greenhead.
Yeah. Ramsey Russell probably killed it.
Canvasback, greenhead duck. And we're going out there, but today we're using 3 decoys. And we recommend you not getting out of the blind because there's a thing that we call a Nile crocodile.
Yeah.
And a Nile crocodile happens to be as wide as your house and as long as your truck. And
yeah, that's I'm just gonna stay up here. I'm good.
But let's face it, dude.
To each their own, man. Every environment, right?
Hey, let's face it though. Duck hunters, we're all so crazy that if there's a duck to be found, I don't give a shit if it's on the Nile River. I don't care if it's in the middle of the Serengeti and there's lions looking at you, bro. Duck hunters will try.
Yeah,
they will try. It don't matter. It could be a deer, and a guy's like, hey, I see a pack of lions over there. I'm not hunting that deer. Duck hunter be like, did you see the band on that son of a bitch?
Yeah. If I was gonna come down there, I'd just not bring waders and I'd just bring my boat. Everything I do, I'm doing with my boat. You guys can get out if you want. I'll still shoot ducks, but I'm just not getting out of the boat.
Hey,
that's right.
Fair enough. Well, man, obviously want to be respectful of your time. I know you got kids and stuff. It's 9 o'clock at night. Which, first of all, I didn't realize y'all have Eastern time up there. Because we were going back and forth on the time, and I was like, damn, I didn't realize y'all were on Eastern time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, we're I'm probably 4 hours east of the time change.
Oh shit! No kidding. Okay.
Yep.
He's got a full text from his wife, just be like, "Will you get your ass down here?"
No, all the kids are asleep. I helped them get to bed before I came up here. So
Good deal.
Well, good deal, man. Well, tell everyone, Brian. I feel like we could talk for like 4 more hours, but
yeah, bro.
And we'll have to do it again. But tell everybody where they can get in touch with you and just follow your content and all the stuff you do, man.
Yeah. So on YouTube, it's Too Many Hobbies. Do a bunch of hunting and fishing stuff up here. Camera stuff basically whatever I want. That's why it's just Too Many Hobbies. On Instagram, Brian Ellathorpe Media is the best place to find my pictures and videos. Same thing on Facebook. Either friend me, just my personal page, or you can follow the media page. And on TikTok, I'm just Brian Ellathorpe, and it's most of the same stuff that you'd see.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. Again, it was great talking with you, and sure we could do this all night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm sure I'll come back anytime.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to talk about more stuff with you. I mean, you're the kind of guest that makes it easy, and we appreciate you taking time out of your night tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, bro.
Appreciate it.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.